Alright guys, I just uploaded a couple of longer form videos talking about the Bitcoin hard fork that's coming up. You can watch those. I just wanted to give you a brief, shorter version of it, so in case you don't have a lot of time, here's what you need to know, as far as I know, about the Bitcoin fork that's coming up. Now, why do I say as far as I know? I'm not a Bitcoin expert, but I just got back from Wealth Expo LA. I got to listen to a pretty amazing, well-known person, Sean Walsh, talk about Bitcoin and the hard fork that's coming up. He's part of a venture capitalist firm up in Silicon Valley. They're investing millions of dollars into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And so they have a hugely vested stake in what's going on. Now, once I heard him talk, I went and did a lot of research and I came up with some pretty interesting thoughts on what's going on, and I want to share those with you right now. So, what is going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin has gone through a couple of forks before. If you have invested in Bitcoin before, or if you're currently investing in Bitcoin, or you're interested in investing in Bitcoin, you want to watch this video and understand what's going to happen, or at least the potential possibilities and outcomes that could go on with this fork. So, Bitcoin has had a couple of forks before. It's gone through a fork with Bitcoin Cash, which allowed Bitcoin to remain the same, BTC, and then it created Bitcoin Cash, BCH. And they were two different coins that got created, and they're able to coexist side by side just fine. If you bought into Bitcoin and owned it when the fork happened and you had your coins in an online wallet or dashboard, typically what happened is you got the same amount of Bitcoin Cash as you had already owned in Bitcoin. And so it was no loss to you, and in fact you probably made some pretty good money because Bitcoin continued to go up to $7,000, and Bitcoin Cash is currently worth around $600, $650. So that was free money that you just got out of that investment. Now that's so cool, so why wouldn't we want more forks to happen? Well, again, Bitcoin went through another fork shortly thereafter in October, and it created Bitcoin Gold as well as Bitcoin, and we have Bitcoin Cash over here. So Bitcoin Gold happened, and it really didn't go anywhere yet because it's not viewed as a secure and stable currency yet, and all the the code for it and all that stuff is just not there yet. It's not developed fully, and so it's still in the process. Not a whole lot of people have adopted it. The platforms aren't really accepting it yet. Coinbase, which is one of the biggest wallets for buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, views it as too unstable, and so while they have given the people that own Bitcoin the same amount of Bitcoin Gold that owned it at the time of the fork, they haven't given anybody their Bitcoin Gold yet because they don't use it on their platform. It's not secure, and until it becomes secure, nothing's going to happen with it as far as Coinbase is concerned, as far as a lot of the wallet and trading platforms are concerned. So, if it becomes secure, you'll actually own the same amount of Bitcoin Gold as you had at the time of the fork if you own Bitcoin. So, those are fine, not big deals, right? But this new fork that's happening is different than these other two. So, while these coins can exist side by side with Bitcoin, this new fork is changing the way that works. So there's a software change that's happening. Right now, Bitcoin is operating on SegWit 1. Now, there's a new software that allows the ability and the storage ability and all this to change, SegWit2X, right? So you have SegWit 1 or SegWit 1X and SegWit 2X that's happening. And because it's two different softwares, the thought is that this is actually going to destroy one of the two coins that's created. So Bitcoin Gold, or Bitcoin traditional will exist, BTC, and then Bitcoin2X B2X. And one of these softwares is going to be widely accepted and the other will be scrapped, is the thought, right? So currently, about 80% of all of the miners out there for Bitcoin are accepting B2X. They want SegWit2X because it's easier to work on, and they want to go that direction. So the thought is that B2X will win out and will be widely accepted and widely used, and Bitcoin BTC will fall by the wayside and be destroyed, and Bitcoin2X will just then become Bitcoin. As per Coinbase, what they talk about is just that. If one coin is widely accepted and the other not, they will wipe out and not use the other coin, and they will just use whatever one is widely accepted and relabel that Bitcoin. So there you have it. That's kind of the thought. So Bitcoin2X, that seems to be the way it's going, B2X. But There's an agreement between all the miners saying they want that. However, there's some very big miners and mining corporations and big players in the game that don't believe in B2X, and they don't believe in the SegWit2X platform, and they want Bitcoin as it is, BTC. They want to remain with SegWit1. So they're going to intentionally manipulate the market and try and keep this SegWit1 strong, and therefore there's going to be some craziness, some infighting, and we don't really know what's going to happen. It's going to be a little hard to predict, okay? So I started looking into that, and there is a third option. Now, there are a lot of people that believe that Bitcoin Cash is actually the original Bitcoin, that it is true to the vision of the original Bitcoin Foundation, right? And that these other two, Bitcoin as it is, BTC, and Bitcoin2X, are manipulations of the original vision that don't hold true to it. And so, kind of out of spite for that and out of standing to gain tons of profit, what the idea is that a lot of these big players will have Bitcoin and Bitcoin2X, and then they will dump it as soon as they can at high levels, because Bitcoin is trading at $7,000 right now, and who knows what Bitcoin B2X is going to be trading at, but they will dump that immediately because they have such large quantities of both then, and they will immediately invest all of their income and all of their assets into Bitcoin Cash, causing Bitcoin and B2X to be totally decimated and destroyed and worthless because they're such large players, and Bitcoin Cash will then skyrocket to the level that Bitcoin is at currently because they believe that Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, so they're going to intentionally manipulate the market. Now, nobody knows if this is going to happen. These are just thoughts. These are potential outcomes. How will this affect you? Well, it's not going to affect you too much if you owned Bitcoin when the Bitcoin Cash fork happened, because chances are you got given the same amount of Bitcoin Cash as you had Bitcoin, right? So, and then the new fork will happen, and you'll have Bitcoin and Bitcoin2X and Bitcoin Cash, and you'll have equal or relatively equal amounts of all depending on how you've invested. Not a huge deal, because whatever happens, then you're going to own the same amount of any one of those that's going to go up, and the other ones that go down, it doesn't affect you because it was kind of free in general anyways to you. So not a big deal, but if you start investing in one of these two coins after the fork happens, and you invest large amounts and one of them decimates, that's not good news. So you may want to just pay attention to what's happening. Now, the other way that it affects you is if you didn't invest or own Bitcoin before the Bitcoin Cash fork happened, chances are you don't own any Bitcoin Cash. You own Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin Gold if you were invested at that point, and after this new fork, you'll own Bitcoin and B2X. But what about Bitcoin Cash? You haven't invested in that. You didn't own it when that fork happened, so you weren't given any Bitcoin Cash, and you've put all of your investments into Bitcoin thinking that was the good thing to do, and then if these players intentionally manipulate the market and destroy Bitcoin and B2X, all of your money's there. What are you left with? Those coins go away or go so low in value that they're not being used, and you don't own Bitcoin Cash while it skyrockets back up to 7,000 or wherever it's going to end up, and you're trying to buy back into the game while these people are laughing all the way to the bank because they just put all of their money that they had in Bitcoin and B2X into Bitcoin Cash at a low level, scooped it up at $600 a coin where they sold at 7,000, and they were able to come in and just buy everything with the Bitcoin Cash, right? So that's a huge potential. That could happen, and if you own Bitcoin but do not own Bitcoin Cash, you may want to be aware that that is a possibility, and you might want to find a way to invest in Bitcoin Cash as quick as possible before this fork happens on November 16th. I don't know exactly how it's going to go down. I'm not a professional Bitcoin investor. I'm an amateur. I just have heard from some professionals. I got access to a great talk and speech on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and understood this fork from a different perspective, got some insider secrets on it, and then I took that information and I went and I listened to a ton of other speakers and tried my best to understand what was going on, and then I looked at the platforms, the trading platforms, the exchanges we're talking about, and there's just a lot of information out there. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to really give you the full scope and pretend like I know what's going to happen with it. I don't, but I want to inform you that there are great opportunities here, there are great possibilities, and there are great warning signs, and you should be aware of them and do what you can to safeguard yourself against them, because that's just smart business, right? So go check out some of the experts, go listen to some talks, go figure out what you're going to do about this, how you're going to safeguard yourself from this change. If you own all three after this fork, you're probably sitting just fine. Just don't invest a ton of money into one or the other until you see what it's going to do, because you may pick the wrong one, which then gets decimated. So if you want to know more, you can watch the other videos, but I think this is a pretty good summation of it. I actually had to correct myself because I didn't realize the Bitcoin gold fork had already happened, so I was talking about it wrong in the first video. I just did a bunch of research, realized I was wrong, and had to come reshare this content. So this is a great video for you, at least to inform you and help you go find the right information out there. Be aware of what could happen, what the experts are saying, and just know that this is wild times to be alive, man. It's a brand new industry and a brand new market, and we don't really know how it's going. So it's all just changing right underneath us. Amazing opportunities here, but you have to understand it. You have to get informed. You have to listen to the experts, but also not just take their word for it, because there's experts on all sides, right? So I hope this helps you guys. God bless you. I'm Makai Block with Limitless North. If you have any questions about cryptocurrency, about Bitcoin, about blockchain, I'll do my best to answer it for you, and would love to communicate with you on that. So go do what you're going to do. If you haven't been investing in cryptocurrency, you're really going to want to start paying attention, because I think, as do so many people, this industry is just going to explode over the next couple of years. There are so many huge players getting involved. And after Wealth Expo LA and hearing Sean Walsh talk about the way that his firm is investing in Bitcoin and in blockchain technology, they're looking to put $600,000 a month into Bitcoin and creating an affiliate program to push people into Bitcoin, which is, right now, there's about 600,000 people in the world that own one Bitcoin or more. So that's not a large number of people at all. But you watch the trend, you watch the actual growth, and there's so many people getting involved now, and it's jumping up exponentially, and yet that's such a small fraction of the market, of the human race. Nobody is promoting Bitcoin yet or marketing it to the masses. This company wants to be the first ones to do it. They're going to create an affiliate program so that if you're invested in Bitcoin and you can get some friends investing in it, they're going to pay you to do that, because they want to see this market grow, because it's going to benefit them so much in the long run. But they're not the only company out there doing that. There's going to be so many companies investing millions and millions of dollars into Bitcoin, into Bitcoin technology, into blockchain technology, into other cryptocurrencies. There's so much happening right now. So many significant players are getting on board, accepting cryptocurrencies, accepting Bitcoin, pushing into the development of the technology, working on blockchain, and it just seems like it's going to be this huge thing for the future. We don't really understand it yet. It's so new. And yet that's when you want to get in on the ground floor of an industry. So the opportunity is here for you. Go get informed and go do something about it. Or sit on the sidelines and just watch this take off and happen. And there's no guarantee it's going to take off. It just seems that all the signs are pointing there. So it's pretty exciting times to be alive. And I hope that I have informed you in some way, shape, or form and got you a little excited about this, a little interested in learning more. So thank you guys for watching. Again, Makai Block with Limitless North. God bless you. Thank you for being on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video if you've been here a while and you appreciate what I'm saying. Share it with some friends so they know, especially if you have friends that are invested in Bitcoin. At least get this video into their hands so they know that there are a couple of different possibilities that could happen with this fork, because the reality is most people are just going to sit back and pretend like it's not happening and not get informed, and they could be left in the dark, and so we don't want that. All right, guys, have an amazing week. I will catch you on the next one. I'll have some new millionaire success habits going up tomorrow morning and consistently throughout the rest of the week. And just really excited to be building this community. So thanks for joining me. Catch you on the next one.